5 key points of presidential debates between Joe Biden and Trump. Detailed explanation of it. The presidential debates between Joe Biden and Donald Trump in the 2024 election cycle were highly anticipated and covered a range of important issues. Here are 5 key points from those debates, along with detailed explanations. Number 1. Handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Context. This was a major issue during the debates due to the widespread impact of the pandemic on public health and the economy. Biden's position. Biden criticized Trump's handling of the pandemic, arguing that the administration's response was chaotic and lacked a coherent national strategy. Trump's response. Trump defended his administration's actions, pointing to travel bans from China and Europe and efforts to accelerate vaccine development through Operation Warp Speed. Impact. This exchange highlighted contrasting approaches to public health crises and allowed voters to assess each candidate's leadership under pressure. Number 2. Healthcare and the Affordable Care Act (ACA). Context. The ACA, also known as Obamacare, remained a contentious issue, particularly regarding its potential repeal by the Trump administration. Biden's position. Biden advocated for strengthening and expanding the ACA, emphasizing its benefits for Americans with pre-existing conditions. Trump's response. Trump reiterated his intention to repeal and replace the ACA, arguing it was too costly and limited choices for consumers. Impact. This debate underscored fundamental differences in healthcare policy, influencing voters concerned about access to healthcare and protections for pre-existing conditions. Number 3. Racial justice and policing. Context. Following widespread protests against police brutality and systemic racism, racial justice became a pivotal issue. Biden's position. Biden supported police reform and addressed systemic racism, advocating for measures to improve police-community relations and address inequalities. Trump's response. Trump focused on law and order, emphasizing support for law enforcement and condemning violence during protests. Impact. This discussion highlighted contrasting approaches to addressing racial disparities and police reform, resonating with voters concerned about social justice issues. Number 4. Economic recovery and jobs. Context. With the economic impact of the pandemic looming large, discussions on economic recovery were critical. Biden's position. Biden proposed tax reforms to increase taxes on the wealthy and corporations while providing relief to middle-class families and small businesses. Trump's response. Trump highlighted pre-pandemic economic gains and advocated for further tax cuts and deregulation to stimulate recovery. Impact. This exchange allowed voters to evaluate each candidate's economic plans and their potential impact on job creation and economic stability. Number 5. Climate change and environmental policy. Context. Environmental issues gained prominence, particularly regarding climate change and energy policy. Biden's position. Biden proposed a comprehensive plan to address climate change, emphasizing clean energy investments and rejoining the Paris Agreement. Trump's response. Trump defended his administration's record on energy independence and criticized Biden's climate proposals as economically damaging. Impact. This debate highlighted differing priorities on environmental protection and energy policy, influencing voters concerned about climate change and sustainability.